is the last part of our report, the 21st Century Challenges in Strategic Management. Three particular challenges or decisions that face all strategies today. Particular challenges or decisions that face all strategies today is deciding whether the process should be more an art or a science. Second one is deciding whether strategies should be visible or hidden from stakeholders. And third one is deciding whether the process should be more top-down or bottom-up in their firm. So let us discuss first the art or science issue. Most of the strategy literature in advocating that strategic management be viewed more as a science than an art. So this perspective contends that firms need to systematically assess their external and internal environments. They, they should conduct research, carefully evaluate the pros and cons of various alternatives, perform analysis, and then deciding upon a particular course of an action. So in contrast, Mitzberg's notion of crafting strategies embodies the artistic model, which suggests that strategic decision-making be based primarily in holistic thinking, intuition, creativity, and imagination. Mintzberg and his followers reject strategies that result from objective analysis, preferring instead subjective imagination. The strategy in scientists reject strategies that emerge from emotion, hunch, creativity, and politics. Proponents of the artistic view often consider strategic planning exercise to be time poorly spent. The Mintzberg philosophy insists on informality, whereas strategy scientists insist more formality. Mintzberg refers to strategic planning as an emergent process, whereas strategy scientists use the term deliberate process. So one of the strategists must decide for themselves, and certainly the two approaches are not mutually exclusive. In deciding which approach is more effective, however, consider the business world today has become increasingly complex and more intensely competitive. There is less error in strategic planning. The idea of deciding on strategies for any firm without thorough research and analysis, at least in the mind of the writer, is unwise. Certainly, in smaller firms there can be informality in process compared to larger firms. But even the smaller firms, a wealth of competitive information is available on the internet and elsewhere and should be collected, assimilated, and evaluated before deciding on a course of action upon which survival of the primarily may hinge. The livelihood of countless employees and shareholders may hinge the effectiveness of strategies selected. Too much is stake to be left than thorough in formulating strategies. It is not wise for a strategist to rely too heavily on gut feeling and opinion instead of research data, competitive intelligence, and analysis in formulating strategies. The second challenge is the visible or hidden issue. An interesting aspect of any competitive analysis discussion is whether strategies themselves should be secret or open within the firms. The Chinese warrior Sun Tzu and military leaders today strive to keep strategies secret, as war is based on deception. However, for business organization, secrecy may not be the best. Keeping strategies secret from employees and stakeholders at large could severely inhibit employee and stakeholder communication, understanding, and commitment, and also forgot or forgo valuable input that this person could have regarding formulation and or implementation of the strategy. Thus, strategists in a particular firm must decide for themselves whether the risk of rival firms easily knowing and exploiting a firm's strategies is worth the benefit of improved employee and stakeholder motivation and input. So most executives agree that some strategic information should remain confidential to top managers, and steps should be taken to ensure that such information is not disseminated beyond the inner circle. For a firm that you may own manage, would you advocate openness and secrecy in regard to strategies being formulated and implemented? So there are certainly good reasons to keep the strategy process and strategies themselves visible and open rather than hidden as secret. However, there are also good reasons to keep strategies hidden from all the top level executives. So strategists must decide for themselves what is best for their firms. So we have some reasons to completely open this strategy process and resultant decisions are this. First one is managers, employees, and other stakeholders can readily contribute to the process. They often have excellent ideas. Secrecy would forego many excellent ideas. Second one is investors, creditors, and other stakeholders have greater basis for supporting a firm when they know what the firm is doing and where the firm is going. Third one is visibility promotes democracy, whereas secrecy promotes autocracy. Domestic firms and most foreign firms prefer democracy over autocracy as a management style. And the last one is participation and openness enhance understanding, commitment, and communication within the firm. Reasons why some firms prefer conduct strategy planning in secret and keep strategies hidden from all but the highest level executives are as follows. First one is free dissemination of a firm's strategies may easily translate into competitive intelligence for rival firms who could exploit the firms given the information. Second one is secrecy limits criticism, second guessing, and hindsight. The third one is participants in a visible strategy process become more attractive to rival firms who may lure them away. And the last one is secrecy limits rival firms from imitating or duplicating the firm's strategies and undermining the firm. So the obvious benefits of the visible versus hidden extreme suggest that the working balance must be sought between the apparent contradictions. So Parnell says that in a perfect world, all key individuals, both inside and outside the firm, should be involved in strategic planning. But in practice, particularly sensitive and confidential information should always remain strictly confidential to top managers. This balancing act is difficult but essential for survival of the firms. For our last challenge, the top-down or bottom-up approach. The top-down or bottom-up approach. Proponents of the top-down approach contend that the top executives are the only person in the firms with collective experience, acumen, and fiduciary responsibility to make key strategy decisions. In contrast, bottom-up advocates argue the lower and middle managers and employees who will be implementing the strategy need to be actively involved in the process of formulating the strategies to ensure their support and commitment. Recent strategy research emphasized the bottom-up approach, but earlier work by Shandell and Hofer stressed the need for firms to rely on the perceptions of their top manager in strategic planning. Strategists must reach the working balance of the two approaches in manner deemed best for their firms at a particular time. So that's all for my report. Thank you for listening.